Well, if you clicked on this video, I bet you're wondering who appears in the thumbnail. I am so excited to tell you that it's me. Like, it's always been me, it always will be me, but I am the person in the thumbnail. And if you think I'm lying, well, I can just turn off this layer, and that's not the case. I am still there, it is still me. We are all good. Oh. What the f? This is actually good? Ya Boy Kongming follows Ya Boy Kongming. Sorry, had to do it. In modern day Tokyo, after dying then reappearing somehow? But anyway, in modern day Japan, he finds a singer in a small club by the name of Eiko. Kongming, an actual person in history by the way, acts as her strategist to promote her music and grow her as an artist. The show never tries to be too serious, always having Kongming acting out due to not knowing a lot about the present day, which I honestly like. And when the show does try and tackle serious themes, it's normally done through Eiko, the singer I mentioned earlier, or Kabe. Kabe is a rapper in contrast to Eiko singing, and he's introduced as a rundown rapper, which is like that as he collapsed from stomach ulcers in a rap battle, then swore them off, with Kongming fixing the issues and then recruiting him to join the crew. One thing you might think the series would face is that because it's almost always assured that Kongming will win, that it might get boring seeing his antics. But they fix this in two ways. The first is that they give ample stakes, with the chance of loss always imminent. And the second is that Kongming's antics and planning are just so absurd that it subverts the viewer's expectation in a way that a loss would. I like the art style, with it definitely going for that recent popular style of look, but it still pulls it off in its own unique way. Another thing to mention is the soundtrack. Much like Bocce, the songs used in the show were pretty good. But this show's opening was amazing. Like, the animation combined with the song just makes this so good. One last thing to talk about would be Kongming himself, which, can I just say, give this voice actor the bag, will you? He does such a good job sounding like a shady character, which describes Kongming in modern day Japan to a T. What makes Kongming great is that he doesn't break character and is fairly realistic. What I mean to say is that when you normally see a Kongming type, they normally acknowledge the viewer and wall break, or have some device that realistically couldn't exist. Say some mind control gun. Kongming, however, he uses what you call far-fetched but realistic strategies, say blocking exits or using bribery to get his way. All this to say, this is the kind of show I wished Akiba Maid War was. This was funny, entertaining, and coherent, which is why Ya Boy Kongming walks away with a 9 out of 10. I was surprised by this. Why? Well, Count Season 2 provides a better rounded show. The main cast of the 5 band members, Mugi, Ritsu, Mio, Yui, and Azusa, and supervising teacher Sawako are all still here and in the spotlight. But I think in the first season, at least for me, they were overly tropey, which to an extent hasn't changed, but they at least put a lot more time into fleshing out all the characters as a whole. For example, Yui, one of the characters I found most annoying, was very forgetful in the first season, where she basically couldn't remember a thing. She was always late and was just kinda not a great person. In the second season she gets toned back, where she still has that forgetfulness, but it's never the sole part of her character. It's an extension to something like school exams. Another thing is that a lot more of the spotlight is put on the other main cast members besides Yui, with Mio, at least I think, almost becoming the main protagonist, with events like the Culture Festival showing a lot more of her character. One thing that I wish had have improved is the pacing. Something I think the show has is that a year goes by like it's nothing, which is unfortunate. I have a similar issue with Kaguya-sama as well, where I wish I got to see more of the characters and their development. I understand that there are only so many ideas to go around and that they have to speed up time to help that, but it just feels like there should be more. I think also what doesn't help is that Hokago Tea Time, the band, performs 2 or 3 times total in the show. I get that there probably shouldn't be a performance every episode, but for this season there were 26 episodes. It's also not like they were running out of songs either. From what I've read, each opening had a secondary song, so like the popular Osu song Kuru Days was the secondary opening to the third and final opening for the show, which, by the way, Kuru Days was a way better song, so I wish they used it. Anyway, the point is I wanted to see more Hokago Tea Time. This isn't helped when such bangers as No Thank You were used in the soundtrack. Speaking of the soundtrack, I like the first opening. Fua Fua Time is kinda basic but okay. I wasn't a fan of You and I, and Pure Pure Heart was alright. Then there was Gohan wa Kazu, which was unique. Imagine if I sung that. 1,2,3,4 Gohan, Gohan wa sugoi yo, nandema ai yo hokoka. Well, Count Season 2. I think it was good, maybe a bit off on the ending, seeing as it had a couple episodes that could have realistically been the ending, but I enjoyed it, and it left me wanting more, which is why Count Season 2 gets a 9 out of 10. Finally! Well, Haruhi Season 2, like, I don't even know. Like, it has what is widely considered to be the worst arc in all of anime, which is an achievement, with a whole 5 episodes that have absolutely zero plot development, only acting as a tale of deja vu, as it were. The rest of the season was fine, but nothing special or memorable, with them making a movie or whatever. Yon was remarkably unpleasant, which came with a bit of a change in how the cast felt, with the whole club feeling a lot more split up, with everyone there just being Haruhi's playpiece, which I get is kind of the point, but this wasn't an issue in the first season. Like, both Kyon and Mikuru would often object to the antics, which would create a divide, sure, but it still kept it to the one issue. Now it feels as if the divide is constant, and Kyon, instead of being the normal person, is like that crazy person from the Sonic movie. You know, the Sonic meme one? With Kyon knowing all the behind the scenes, but still put as the crazy one. I don't know, as a person who didn't see this when it was the Prime Anime series airing, I can't really talk about the season that fondly. You can see that the first and third seasons are generally regarded higher, and so maybe something in the third season would change my mind about the series as a whole. But the Melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi Season 2 gets a 5 out of 10.
いや、よくない。お前はまだ満足していないはずだ。
じゃあ今日はこれで終了。明日は予備日に開けておいたけど、そのまま休みにしちゃっていいわ。
Let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 red flags, and yet I still ended up watching Onimai. Oh, and not to mention the 5th red flag of there being an uncensored version. And somehow I managed to put this on my to watch list twice. No joke. Onimai focuses mostly on the sibling duo of Mihari and Mahiro, with the former being the youngest sibling Genius and the other being me, the stay-at-home shut-in gamer. But also maybe Mahiro is a bit more of a slob than I am. Mahiro, our main focus of the two, ends up sex shifting from some sort of potion that his younger sister created. Honestly, this takes the cake. That award that I gave Akiba Maid War is gone, now in the hands of Onimai. It's really hard to explain the extent of the show, but basically it follows Mahiro learning to live as a middle school girl. I think the most odd part to me was seeing Mahiro going back into middle school. Whilst not the genius that Mihari is, he still passed through high school. Talking about plot points, they tend to tackle simple tasks, which Mahiro has tended to avoid by being a shut-in, with doing girly things like shopping or hanging out at the movies, which while nothing groundbreaking, having Mahiro's out there almost ignorant view of life makes it entertaining. A character I would consider an almost like-for-like to Mahiro is Konata from Lucky Star, who is also much a shut-in, though that series never really tried to develop the characters like Onimai has. I also think this isn't the worst show I've seen by a long shot, rather just very unique and a bit out there. The series goes for such a unique art style, which is honestly one of my favourites. The opening and ending themes are also very good too. So Onimai, is it more like Eromanga Sensei or Akiba Maid War for me? Well, to put that aside for a second, I think it's worth mentioning that there can be some graphic and disturbing elements, mostly in the first, second, and last episode of the season. However, I would say this leans more toward the side of being a bad show that I adore. Unlike Akiba Maid War, I found a coherent yet weird plot, and I think for that, Onimai I'm Now Your Sister is worth 10 points out of 10 for me, at least in the way it's affected me forever. On the record, it gets an 8 though.
I actually do not know what this song is, but hold on. Oh no, hold on. I don't have bad memory, right? Hold on. I know where this is from, I think. Let's fix one. Any thoughts? Any other thoughts? Stop mapping it. That's my other thought.
I don't get it. Konosuba has made absolutely no sense to me. Like, this clip from the opening explains exactly how I feel about the show. Like, they literally tell the same joke over and over, and just want you to laugh. But the biggest joke is how there isn't a difference between the seasons, by the characters' objectives. Aqua is just an infuriating character, as is Darkness. Megumin is just there, and Kazuma is a certified dumbass. Like, okay, in comparison, Demon Slayer, which I know is an action first, comedy second, but close enough. It uses the characters' personalities to make a joke for the viewer, despite it being a serious scene for the characters. For example, at the end of the first season, right before the start of the Mugen Train arc, Inosuke thinks the train's a demon, with the normally out there Zenitsu being the grounded one and telling Inosuke to act normal. Come to think of it, I used an example last time to say that Konosuba just wasn't funny. I might expand this all with a standalone video in future, but for now, Konosuba Season 2 gets a 4 out of 10. Food Wars Season 3. It was good, but it does get hard to talk about different seasons of the same show, especially when all that differs is a new opening and plot point. Even when there are shows like Bleach that will use openings for half of 2 seasons. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the shake-up courtesy of Erina's father, but it's just more cooking, with the same cast following the same plot that they set up before. I have to say that the tension at stake just kind of fell off too. In the first season we had Soma fighting the heat of expulsion, the second we had the fight of the autumn elections and the fallout from that, and now we have the whole world is falling apart? Guys, this isn't Attack on Titan, we don't need something that big. Anyway, that about covers my thoughts on Food Wars Season 3. I know it wasn't much, but besides the plot, just copy and paste what I've said from the other videos containing Food Wars. 6 out of 10. Normally, I don't take a look at specials and OVAs, but seeing as Dr. Stone Ryuusai is almost movie length, I thought it was worth taking a look at. The special focuses on the newly reincarnated, previously rich pilot of Ryuusai. With this, they have a pilot for both their hot air balloon, which gets covered in the special, and a ship, which is left to be continued for the 3rd season of the series. Money is also added into the Stone world, but is such a minor addition compared to the rest of the plot. Honestly, this had similar and opposite issues as Food Wars. There wasn't much development in an hour-long special, and a lot of it felt like it could have been covered in 20 to 30 minutes, rather than double that. I feel very mixed on the special, as it doesn't do anything wrong, but I didn't find it as interesting as either season, despite having other issues with the first season. There really isn't too much to say on the special, which just leaves the score, which for Dr. Stone Ryuusai is a 7 out of 10. Now, if you didn't know, Demon Slayer had a theatrical event, where the last 2 episodes of the Entertainment District arc, or Season 2, were played, alongside a preview screening of the first episode of the 3rd season, the Swordsmith Village arc. Now, I'm not going to score this because I think it's better to score shows and seasons, so a combination theatrical release I don't think needs a score, but I do believe it's worth a discussion. Firstly, people were labeling this as if it was some sort of scam. If you read about the release at all, you would have seen it was just a collection of episodes on the big screen, but as as for the episodes, well, I did watch the entirety of the Entertainment District arc before going to see this, so I was spoiled to about what half the runtime was, though by the time I got to the new season's episode, I was excited. I think the new scenery looks amazing, with the quiet mountain town that is the Swordsmith village looking just as nice, if not nicer than the Entertainment District. The scene, as I'm gonna call it, was reacted to heavily in the cinema that I went to, which if you know what I'm talking about, you know why it got a reaction. And the featured Hashira, Mitsuri and Muchiro both being shown. Finally, there's the opening, which for what it's worth is probably the weakest of the bunch. Like, the animation was up to standard, but the opening song was by Man with a Mission, which I just don't think they have a sound for an anime opening, unlike the past few from Lisa and Ama. I don't know, you can disagree, but for me personally, da 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 is all I need. Overall, I'm excited to watch the rest of the Swordsmith Village arc, though I know that'll be a while away. So first of all, I want to thank Meta for his help on the Gohan wa Kazu cover. I wasn't at writing, and even at recording, I'm still not sure if it gets finished on time, but his help's been invaluable to making it happen. Oh, and if you're interested in the process behind that, I came up with the idea about a month in advance for the video. This includes the idea of having the characters in VR chat. I pitched it to Meta to get an idea on the viability, and somehow it got cleared, and we made it happen. Following this was trying to import the K-On! Models into VR chat, which took over a week, because whilst I was familiar with Blender, I wasn't with Unity, and not to mention the numerous compatibility issues. In comparison, singing the song was fairly easy, though I still don't know much Japanese, so I'm not saying it was easy by any means. Before I go wrapping up again, I also want to say I hit the milestone of 100 seasons of shows started, with the honor or dishonor going to Onimai. So this is the part where I recap. To be honest, not many of these shows were worth watching. I liked Ya Boy Kongming as probably the highlight for the month. If you have my taste in anime, Onimai might be something you like, and Food Wars was Food Wars. Oh, I forgot about Kaon being pretty good, and Haruhi and Dr. Stone are fine at moving the plot forward, but not the greatest their respective series have had to offer. With that said, if you enjoyed, a subscription and like would be appreciated. If you have something to say regarding my opinions, a suggestion, idea, feedback or otherwise, I would love to read it in the comments. And check out my socials. I post on Twitter occasionally and stream often on Twitch. With all that said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!